can you take us through CDM, right, from what is carbon and how people offset carbon, carbon neutrality?
Okay. So the climate is a challenge for the world to mitigate the climate change. The important way to mitigate the climate change is to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. And whenever businesses engage themselves into certain business activities, they emit the greenhouse gas emissions. And also the consumers and generally the society, whenever it gets involved in consumption activity, it also emits the greenhouse gases. As the corporations or businesses being the largest drivers of greenhouse gas emissions, they also have a responsibility to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. Conduct their businesses within certain intensity of emission of the greenhouse gases. The international community has taken a task upon itself to mitigate the greenhouse gases or limit the emissions of the greenhouse gases. Hence, following from 1992 United Nations Framework for Climate Change Convention at Rio, by 1997 the global governments have agreed upon Kyoto Protocol, and the Kyoto Protocol required the certain nations, which are developed nations called in the protocol Annex 1 nations, to limit their greenhouse gas emissions during a commitment period from 2012 to 2015. Sorry, 2008 to 2012, okay, to a certain limits. Okay, they have to reduce during this period from a baseline of 2000 by a certain percentage. Whereas the countries which did not, which didn't fall under the Annex 1 countries, they were outside the Annex 1 countries, who did not have enough capacities to reduce. Their economic situation was such that they cannot actually mitigate the greenhouse gases. There were certain developmental imperatives. Those countries were exempted from meeting those commitments, any kind of commitments during the first commitment period, which is 2008 to 2012. However, these countries and the businesses in these countries can still participate in the mitigation of greenhouse gas actions, and the Kyoto Protocol made a provision for that called Clean Development Mechanism, which is actually a project undertaken in the non-Annex 1 countries, which reduces greenhouse gas emissions beyond what otherwise would have occurred in business as usual scenario. And these emission reductions that have been affected by these actions, called CDM project, Clean Development Mechanism project, can be utilized by Annex 1 countries to meet their obligations. So basically, Clean Development Mechanism is a way in which the Annex 1 countries can participate in GHG mitigations and also can contribute to their own sustainable development and can contribute to the compliance meeting obligations of the Annex 1 countries. So that is how it is structured, and these are called Clean Development Mechanism. This is the first global level environmental market mechanism, and its success during 2008 to 2012 clearly provided a way for environmental markets in other sectors, covering the other gases or covering other liquid effluents, covering the solid waste, etc., to be established. In India, we have already started seeing, people started thinking about SPM markets, suspended particulate matter markets, and 3 pilot markets are being established in Gujarat, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu by the Ministry of Environment and Forest. And we, General Carbon, have already signed a memorandum of understanding with the government of Gujarat in the Vibrant Gujarat this year to actually pilot the environmental markets in Gujarat in the liquid effluents area. We are proposing to establish a market to manage one CETP, which is actually COD credits generation and their trade in one of the industrial estates near Ahmedabad. We will come out with the proper plan very soon. So I can only say that the clean development mechanism and the related carbon market was extremely important in achieving the mitigation of the climate change, management of the climate change. It's also important in another respect that it proved a concept that environmental markets are very, very critical in managing the environment. Hence, the ideas, the spread of the clean development mechanism and the carbon market across the globe in all countries, in all sectors, okay, created an environment today to actually establish and operate markets in other environmental areas across the globe. It may even get extended to social sector too. So that's a extremely important contribution of the clean development mechanism.
What is sustainability business transformation?
Yeah. We as a business in General Carbon have a clear focus on sustainability business transformation. We are saying sustainability business transformation is a process, business transformation process that leads a business to become a sustainable business. When we say sustainable business, we exactly mean a business that generates long-term shareholder value, a business that lives for long. Okay, so exactly, it's sustainable. Okay. So this starts from an assumption that a business can be sustainable or can generate long-term stakeholder value if it understands where is it drawing value from and what value it is creating. We believe that the businesses always draw value from all their stakeholders. It is very important for each business to identify who are all their stakeholders and what value it is drawing from those stakeholders. If it can map the value that it is drawing from the stakeholders, we believe that only if it returns that value in equal measure to all the stakeholders, or whatever value that it is generating, it redistributes that value to all the stakeholders in a measure that it has drawn the value from them, then it will create an atmosphere where all the stakeholders continue to be extremely satisfied with the business, and they will continue contributing to the business and participating in the business. If it is able to create that level of engagement with their stakeholders, engagement is not consultation, can get these stakeholders to participate in their business, can contribute to their business and derive value from their business. If it can create that kind of an atmosphere, then that business can generate long-term shareholder value. And a business that generates long-term shareholder value, in our opinion, is a sustainable business. It is that process of actually transforming a business from whatever it is today to a level of sustainable business we call as a sustainable business transformation. Normally, sustainable business transformation happens in phases. In our opinion, it happens in a phase of, first of all, a business to understand what is my compliance requirements on three bottom lines: environment, social and economic bottom line. What are my compliance requirements in spirit, and trying to actually comply with whatever is required as a first step, and then go and ask ourselves, beyond compliance, what are the risks that I am facing coming from environment, social and economic and governance sectors, okay, beyond compliance, and actually fulfill that, and then go ahead and say that I actually want to understand what am I drawing from my stakeholders, and I want to involve my stakeholders in my business, my suppliers in my business, my customers, my employees in my business, my communities in my business, so that they contribute to the business, they draw value from the business. So then I am not creating a shareholder business, but I am creating a stakeholder business. My board represents the stakeholders, including shareholders. I generate value for all my stakeholders, not simply my shareholders. That clearly asks for transformation in my sales, in my advertising, in my customer relations, in my employee management, in my community management, the products and services that I produce, the way that I manufacture them, the way I procure the raw materials. It challenges me to transform my business in such a way that each point, whichever lives I touch, I create happiness there. And that is the kind of business which is an aspirational goal, a sustainable business. Okay, going towards that voyage and that journey is what is sustainable business transformation. We want to partner with businesses in taking them through this journey of sustainable business transformation. That is one of our important service lines at General Carbon. We operate across Asia, India, including India, and sustainable business transformation is one of our major aspirations, and we want to partner in this with all the businesses in India and Asia.